Shukrana Guruji for blessing us with this divine seva of reading as well as listening to Shivpuran. Let's begin with the synopsis of the last week. Last week we read chapter 13 and 14 of Rudra Samhita section 5. In this we read that Sanat Kumara was requested by Vyasa to narrate the story of how the great Asura Jalandhara was killed by Lord Shiva. Now, to this, Sanat Kumara gave a detailed explanation. He gave a story of how Indra was resuscitated, and this was in the context of destruction of the demon Jalandhara. So he told them a story that once Indra and Brahaspati, they wanted to go to Kailasha to see Lord Shiva with great devotion. But Lord Shiva knew that already and he wanted to test their knowledge. So he assumed the form of a naked, matted person who was terrible to look at and with a huge body and wide chest. And when Indra saw this person, he asked who he was, and he also asked about the whereabouts of Lord Shiva, whether Lord Shiva was in his apartment or not. But this person did not reply. Then again Indra asked again, but this person did not reply. This happened many times over, and this agitated Indra. The enraged Indra then tried to kill this person, and he raised his thunderbolt, and he did not know it was Lord Shiva because of his pride. And Lord Shiva then prevented the falling of this thunderbolt by numbing Indra's hand, and so Indra got burnt within. So just then when Brahaspati saw all that, he realized that this was indeed Lord Shiva, and he bowed down in front of Shiva and joined his palms in reverence and eulogized him greatly. He also made Indra fall on Shiva's feet and requested Lord Shiva to take pity on Indra and provide him protection as Indra sought refuge in Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva was still angry, and there was fire in his third eye which could have killed Indra, but Brahaspati reminded Lord Shiva that he's called Bhaktvadzala, which means he's always favorably disposed towards his devotees. So since Indra was also his devotee, he could not have destroyed Indra. So Shiva was very happy and delighted with Brahaspati, and he gave Brahaspati a boon that he would be the enlivener, as he was the reason why Indra was alive. Otherwise he would have been dead because of the fury of Lord Shiva. Now, after that, Lord Shiva, Brahaspati also requested Lord Shiva to, this fire in the third eye be rendered calm. So Lord Shiva, cast off this fire in an ocean and then vanished from there. So after that, Vyasa asked Sanat Kumara that, what happened to this fire thereafter, and Indra and Brahaspati, of course, they were happy and relieved, and they went back to their abode. So Sanat Kumara then told Vyasa that this fire, this brilliance from the third eye of Lord Shiva, immediately assumed a form of a crying boy. And this boy was, at the confluence of Ganga, and when this boy started crying, the three worlds were distressed. It was such a loud noise that from heaven to Satyalok to all the worlds, the voice was deafening, and all the gods, all the creatures were distressed, and then all gods sought refuge in Brahma. So Brahma wanted to figure out what was this that was causing so much noise. So he went to the ocean. There he found a little boy in the lap of the ocean. Now, the ocean assumed a form of a god and handed over this boy in the lap of Brahma. So Brahma asked the ocean about the origin of this boy, and ocean, of course, did not know what was the origin of this boy. And then, just as they were talking, this boy grabbed the neck of Brahma and shook it badly. So Brahma had tears in his eyes, and he took some strength to get free from the grip of this boy, and then he told the ocean that this boy will be named Jalandhara because he had brought tears to the eyes of Brahma. Now he also predicted this boy's future and told ocean that this boy would become an emperor of Asuras, and he would be married to a very chaste lady who had all the good qualities. And he would conquer all gods and even Vishnu, and he could only be slayed by Lord Shiva. He also then called over Shukra and performed coronation of this boy, and then vanished from there. So as this boy attained youth, uh, meanwhile, of course, the ocean took care and nurtured this boy, and this boy attained youth. So the ocean invited an asura named Kalanemi and requested his daughter's hand for Jalandhara. And Kalanemi, of course, agreed, and their auspicious marriage was performed. When their marriage was performed, all the asuras who were sent to Patalaloka by the gods, once the gods had defeated these asuras, they all became fearless, and they came and, sought refuge in this asura named Jalandhara. And they all united because they wanted to defeat the gods. So this Jalandhara, he was reigning, and he had his kingdom, he ruled over it with the help of Shukra, and we will now read further. Today we will be reading chapter 15, which is the fight between gods and Jalandhara, and chapter 16, which is the battle of gods. Today we do not have Hindi reading, we only have English reading, and English reading will be done by Rashmi Aunty. Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji.
Jai Guruji. Chapter 15, the fight between the gods and Jalandhara. Once the son of the ocean, the noble-hearted husband of Vranda, was seated along with his wife and the asuras. The brilliant Bhargava came there, joyously illuminating the 10 quarters as the embodied brilliance. On seeing the preceptor coming, the asuras were delighted in their minds and bowed to him. The son of the ocean too respectfully bowed to him. After bestowing his benediction on them, Bhargava, the storehouse of splendor, sat on a beautiful seat. They too resumed their seats as before. Then the heroic son of the ocean, Jalandhara, saw his assembly and was delighted to observe that his sway was unmitigated. Seeing the headless Rahu seated there, the son of the ocean, the emperor of the Asuras, immediately asked Bhargava. Jalandhara said, "O Lord, by whom was this done to Rahu? By whom was his head cut? Please tell me, O preceptor, everything in detail as it had happened." Sanat Kumara said, on hearing the words of the ocean's son, Bhargava remembered the lotus-like feet of Shiva and replied exactly as it had happened. Bhargava said, "O Jalandhara, O great hero, O benefactor of the Asuras, listen to the account. I shall relate everything exactly as it had happened. Once there was a strong hero, Bali, the son of Virokana and the great son of Hiranyakashyap. He was foremost among the virtuous. The gods, including Indra, being defeated by him, sought refuge in Vishnu. Eager to gain their ends, they told him all details. Oh dear, at his bidding, the gods, very clever in deception, made an alliance with the Asuras to further their own interest. All those gods, the assistants of Vishnu, churned the ocean eagerly for the gain of nectar along with the Asuras. The enemy of the Asuras extracted jewels from the ocean. The gods seized the nectar and drank it deceitfully. Then the gods, including Indra, increased in strength and powers by the drinking of the nectar and harassed the Asuras with the assistance of Vishnu. This Vishnu, who is always a partition of Indra, cut off the head of Rahu as he was drinking the nectar along with the gods. Sanat Kumara said, thus Bhargava narrated in detail the story of headless Rahu, of the churning of the ocean pursued by the gods for the gain of nectar, of the removal of the jewels, of the drinking of the Amrit by the gods, and of the harassment to the Asuras. Then on hearing about the churning of his father, the heroic son of the ocean, the valorous Jalandhara, became furious and his eyes turned red with anger. Then he called his excellent emissary Gasmara and told him everything but what the wise preceptor had said to him. He then lovingly honored the clever emissary in various ways, assured him of protection, and sent him to Indra as his messenger. Gasmara, the intelligent emissary of Jalandhara, hastened to heaven where all gods were present. After going there, the emissary entered the assembly of gods. With his head kept straight as a token of haughtiness, he spoke to Lord Indra. Gasmara said, Jalandhara, the son of the ocean, is the lord and emperor of all the asuras. He is excessively heroic and valorous. He has the support and assistance of Bhargava. I am his emissary. I have been sent by him. I have come to you here. My name is Gasmara, but I am not a devourer. He is of exalted intellect. His behest has never been defied. He has defeated all the enemies of Asuras. Please listen to what he says. Jalandhara said, O base god, why was my father, the ocean, churned by you with the mountain? Why were all the jewels of my father taken away? What have you done is not proper. Return all of them to me immediately. Pondering over this, come along with the gods and seek refuge in me. Otherwise, O base god, you'll have a great cause to fear. You will run the risk of annihilation of your kingdom. Sanat Kumara said, on hearing the words of the messenger, Indra, the lord of the gods, was bewildered. Remembering the previous incidents, he was frightened as well as angry. He spoke to him thus. Indra said, he gave shelter to the mountains who were terribly afraid of me. Others too, some of my enemies, the Asuras, were formerly saved by him. It was due to this that I took away his jewels. Those who oppose me can never remain happy. I am telling you the truth. Formerly, the Asura Shankha, the son of the ocean, was stupid enough to be inimical to me. He was spared by me because he was associated with saintly men. But when his predilection became sinful and he became violent towards saintly men, he was killed in the interior of the ocean by Vishnu, my younger brother. Hence, O messenger, go immediately and explain to the Asura, the son of the ocean, our purpose for churning the ocean. Sanat Kumara said, dismissed thus by Indra, the intelligent emissary Gasmara hastened to the place where the heroic Jalandhara was present. All the words that spoken by Indra were narrated to the king of Asuras by the intelligent emissary. On hearing it, the lips of the Asura throbbed with anger. Desirous of conquering the gods, he exerted himself immediately. In that enterprise of the lord of the Asuras, countless Asuras from all quarters and the neither region took part and helped him. Then the extremely heroic and valorous son of the ocean set forth with countless generals, Shumb, Nishumb, and others. Very soon he reached the heaven along with his force. He blew his conch. All the heroic soldiers roared. After going to heaven, he stationed himself in Nandana. In the midst of all his forces, he roared like a lion. On seeing a vast army surrounding the city, the gods came out of Amaravati, fully equipped with armor for the battle. Then a battle between the armies of the gods and the Asuras ensued. They rushed against one another with iron clubs, arrows, maces, axes, and spears. They hit one another. Within a short time, both the armies began to wade through streams of blood. In that battle, the ground shone like dust, with clouds scattered all around. For it was strewn with elephants, horses, chariots, and foot soldiers. Some were killed and others were being killed. Bhargava resuscitated the Asuras killed in the battle with the Vidya of Amrit Jivani and drops of water infused with mantras. The sage Angaras too resuscitated the gods in the battle with the divine herbs, frequently brought from the mountain Drona. Jalandhara saw the gods restored to life again in the battle. He then spoke angrily to Bhargava. Jalandhara said, the gods have been killed by me. How do they rise up again? The Vidya of Sanjeevani has not been heard by me to exist elsewhere. Sanat Kumara said, on hearing these words of the son of the ocean that delighted Bhargava, the preceptor replied to Jalandhara. Bhargava said, Angiras is bringing divine herbs from the mountain Drona and enlivening the gods. O dear, know my words to be true. O dear, if you wished for victory, listen to my auspicious suggestion. Immediately you shall uproot the mountain Drona with your arms and hurl it into the ocean. Sanat Kumara said, thus addressed by his preceptor Bhargava, the lord of Asuras hastened to the lofty mountain. With his powerful arms, the Asura brought the mountain Drona and hurled it immediately into the ocean. There is nothing wonderful and mysterious in regard to the splendor of Shiva. The great hero, the son of the ocean, took a vast army with him, came to the battleground and began to kill the gods with various weapons. On seeing the gods being killed, Brihaspati went to the mountain Drona. Then he, the object of praise and worship by gods, did not see the mountain there. On realizing that the mountain Drona had been removed by the Asuras, Brihaspati was terrified. He returned and said dejectedly, Brihaspati said, O gods, run away, all of you. There is no trace of the great mountain Drona. Suddenly, it has been destroyed by the Asura, the son of the ocean. Jalandhara is a great Asura. He cannot be conquered since he is born of a part of Shiva. He will pound all the gods. His power has been understood by me as he is self-born. O gods, all of you remember the act of offense to Shiva perpetrated by Indra. Sanat Kumara said, on hearing these words uttered by the preceptor of the gods, they abandoned all hopes of victory. They became excessively terrified. All the gods, including Indra, struck by the king of the Asuras, all round lost courage and fled in all directions. On seeing the gods routed, the Asuras, Jalandhara, the son of the ocean, entered Amravati with sounds of victory from the conches and drums. When the Asura entered the city, Indra and other gods entered the cavern of the golden mountain Meru and remained there. They had been extremely harassed by the Asuras. O sage, at the same time the Asura appointed Shumbha and other Asuras severally in the places of authority of Indra and others. He then went into the cavern of the golden mountain. Chapter 17, The Battle of the Gods. Sanat Kumara said, on seeing the Asura coming again, the gods, including Indra, trembled with fear. They fled together. With Brahma at the head, they went to Vaikuntha. All of them, including Prajapati, eulogized Vishnu after bowing down to him. The gods said, O Rishikesha of long arms, O Lord, O slayer of Madhu, O Lord of gods, obeisance to you, O destroyer of all Asuras. O Vishnu, the form of fish who redeemed the Vedas through King Satyavrata, obeisance to you who sport about in the ocean of dissolution. Obeisance to you of the form of tortoise who bore the mountain Mandara of gods who were attempting to churn the ocean. Obeisance to you, O holy Lord, of the form of boar, obeisance to you who hold the earth, the support of people, obeisance to Vishnu. Obeisance to you, the dwarf, obeisance to Vishnu, the younger brother of Indra, the Lord who deceived the king of Asuras, in the guise of a Brahmin. Obeisance to Parshurama, who exterminated the Kshatriyas who rendered help to your mother. Obeisance to you who are angry and inimical to the evil beings. Obeisance to Rama, who delighted the worlds and who set the limits of decent behavior. Obeisance to you, the destroyer of Ravana and the lord of Sita. Obeisance to you of hidden knowledge, to Krishna, the great Atman, the supportive paramour of Radha, obeisance to him of diverse divine sports. Obeisance to the preceptor of yoga, obeisance to you, O Lord of Lakshmi, of the form of Jaina and Buddha, to you of hidden body and features, and the censor of the Vedas. Obeisance to you of the form of Kalaki, the destroyer of outcasts. Obeisance to him of infinite power and who establishes good virtue. Obeisance to you of the form of Kapila, of great soul, and who expounded the doctrines of Sankhya and Yoga to Devahati. O Lord, obeisance to you, the preceptor of Samkhya. Obeisance to the great yogin and saint who expounds the great wisdom. Obeisance to the creator of the form of knowledge whereby the soul is delighted. Obeisance to you of the form of Vedvyasa, who classified the Vedas and who wrote the Puranas for the welfare of the worlds. Obeisance to you who are ready to perform the task of the devotees through incarnations of fish, etc. O Lord, obeisance to you of the form of Brahman, the cause of creation, sustenance and annihilation. Obeisance to the destroyer of the distress of your servants, the bestower of auspicious happiness. Obeisance to you wearing yellow robes, having Garuda for your vehicle. Obeisance to the performer of all rites. Obeisance to the soul doer. Obeisance to the one worthy of being resorted to. O thunderbolt, for the destruction of misery, etc. of the gods harassed by the Asuras. Obeisance to you lying on the serpent bed. Obeisance to the one who has sun and the moon for his eyes. O Lord of Lakshmi, O ocean of mercy, save us who have sought refuge in you. All the gods have been driven out of heaven by Jalandhara. The sun has been dislodged from his post. Similarly, the moon and the fire too have been removed. The serpent king have been removed from Patala, and Dharmaraja has been dispossessed. While men freely move about, the gods do not shine. We have sought refuge in you. Let measures for his annihilations be thought of. Sanat Kumara said, on hearing these piteous entreaties of the god Vishnu, the slayer of Madhu, the ocean of mercy, spoke in a thundering voice. Vishnu said, O gods, cast off your fear. I shall come to the battleground. I shall show my valor to Jalandhara. Having said this, with distressed mind, Vishnu, the enemy of the Asuras, got up quickly. The god Vishnu, who is favorably disposed to his devotees, immediately mounted his vehicle Garuda. On seeing her lord departing along with the gods, Lakshmi, the daughter of the ocean, spoke with palms joined in reverence and tears welling up in the eyes. O Lord, I am your beloved. If I am always devoted to you, O storehouse of mercy, how does my brother's death be at your hands? Vishnu said, since I have been eulogized by the gods, I shall go to the battleground immediately. I can only show my valor to the Asur Jalandhara. He cannot be slain by me because he is part of Shiva. Moreover, Brahma has said so. Further, you love him too. Sanat Kumara said, having said this and seating himself on Garuda, with the conch, discus, mace and the sword held in his hands, Vishnu hastened to the fight along with Indra and other gods. Roaring like a lion and accompanied by the gods who blazed with Vishnu's splendor, he reached the place where Jalandhara was waiting. Then the Daityas, afflicted by the gusts of wind set in motion by the wings in the speedy flight of the younger brother of Aruna, were blown here and there like the clouds in the sky tossed about in a stormy whirlwind. Then on seeing the Asuras afflicted by the gusts of wind, Jalandhara rushed against Vishnu, shouting out cries of bravery angrily. In the meantime, the delighted gods, equipped with a vast army, began to fight with their strength increased by the brilliance of Vishnu. Seeing the army of gods present there, ready to fight, Jalandhara commanded the invincible Asuras thus. Jalandhara said, O excellent Asura, put up a stiff fight with Indra and other gods who are always cowardly, though they have a huge army. At my bidding, let all these come out with their entire army, the Mauryas numbering 100,000, the Dumras in hundreds, the Asuras and Kalakyas in crores, and Kalakas and Dordas and Kankas in lakhs. All of you come out readily equipped with many divisions of the army and different kinds of weapon. Be fearless and free from hesitations. O Shumb, O Nishumb, destroy in a trice the insignificant gods who feel nervous in the battlefield. You are extremely valorous. Sanat Kumara said, thus the Asuras, clever and efficient in battle, commanded by Jalandhara on one hand, and gods equipped with the four sorts of fighting groups on the other, fought with one another with maces, arrows, javelins, spears, etc. They hit one another with axes and spears. The strong ones hit and struck with different weapons. The heroic gods, supported and invigorated by Rishikesha, rode like lions and discharged sharp arrows. Some fought with arrows of very sharp points, some with pistols and iron clubs, and some with axes and spears. Thus, the fight between the gods and the Asuras was terrific. It was very fierce, frightening the sages and the Siddhas. This concludes the Shivpuran reading for today. Jai Guruji, Shukrana Maharaj.